Now, from Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight, the continued debate on medical marijuana in Nebraska. 2 petitions are making their way across the state. Plus, medical experts are reporting an uptick in childhood diabetes cases. But first tonight, a bill concerning child abuse cases. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Rod has the night off. We will get to those stories in just a moment, but first tonight we're going to be talking about medical marijuana and those 2 petitions that are moving across the state, but they are not talking about the same thing. One of the petitions deals with production and where the cannabis comes from. The other is focused on giving patients the right to use medical cannabis when a doctor deems it necessary. Right now, families caught with marijuana are breaking the law, even if it's being used to treat a patient.
We're turned into criminals. Parents are put in this indescribably painful position of choosing, do I risk losing my children to possibly save one of my children? The pain in that every single day is something I hope that another parent never has to understand, but far too many people in this state understand that situation that they face each and every day.
This petition would also require a doctor to prescribe the medication and would not allow for recreational use. Childhood diabetes cases are on the rise, and studies are trying to determine if it's related to the pandemic. Dr. Maloney says diabetes is partly genetic and partly environmental. He wants to look a few years further back to see if there's a trend. Some early papers suggest perhaps because of the pandemic, delays with checkups also delayed diagnoses.
So we were in the pandemic for at least a year when people started asking themselves, well, we're seeing a little bit more new onset diabetes. Do you think that there could be this correlation?
Maloney expects it could take around 2 years for the medical community to have any solid answers. And speaking of the pandemic, Bryan Health saying today that they have 105 people hospitalized because of COVID-19. 60 of those are from Lancaster County and 11 people are on ventilators. It's the first time Bryan Health has had that many patients since the last peak back in November and December of 2020. Back on November 30th of 2020, 148 patients were hospitalized. Now back to our top story tonight. Today at the Capitol, parents whose children were recently abused at a Nebraska child care facility are speaking out. Channel 8's Ariana Martinez explains what a certain bill would do and how it could help with child safety. Ariana?
Rosewood Academy was a daycare facility with 3 locations in the Omaha area. They have since been closed, and one of the owners has been charged with a misdemeanor in the way that he handled a child. Now, parents of those children who were abused at these facilities spoke out today to share their stories, warning these stories may be difficult to hear.
Forced to sleep on the bathroom floor, kicked down the stairs, telling a child to go kill themselves, throwing a baby into a crib, pushing kids into walls, enclosing kids into a small space, dislocated shoulders, and more.
Parents spoke about the pain and frustrations they are still dealing with, knowing they took their children to a place where harm was being done to them for months, unaware it was going on.
I couldn't keep my promise to my son to keep him safe this time, but I'll spend however long it takes fighting to change the system that failed my son so that no other parent or child has to go through what these families have been through. This bill will start by requiring the 2 arms of DHHS to communicate with each other when a report of abuse is made.
LB 854 is simply a start, and if passed would force the Department of Health and Human Services Division of Child and Family Services to communicate with the Department of Public Health when there is an investigation underway.
This is dozens of children who were all failed by the system, and it was a breakdown of communication within it.
Senator Jen Day mentioned there are other areas that still need work, as the bill doesn't address how parents are specifically notified.
There's lots of child care facilities where they do follow the appropriate steps. They are there to make sure kids are safe. But in the incidents that the child care facility is not doing their job, there should be a backup process in terms of the state agencies following through on reporting to parents, especially if their children are part of an investigation.
During the hearing today, there was no public opposition, one written letter as a neutral party, and around 80 letters and people present to support the bill. Parents want this gap of communication fixed in the state system.
The DHHS departments failed to communicate with each other and with parents, resulting in us not finding out about this abuse till more than a year after it occurred.
In the end, those involved with child abuse at the Rosewood Academy were given a plea deal, and their felony charge was lowered to a misdemeanor. Senator Day says that in the future she hopes to work on a bill that for people like that, they couldn't go to another state and open another child care facility, because unfortunately right now they could, since their charge was only a misdemeanor. Reporting live in front of the state capitol, Ariana Martinez, Channel 8 News.
Ariana, thank you very much for that live report tonight. In other Lincoln news, an intersection was shut down for multiple hours this morning after a motorcycle and vehicle collided. The crash happened at Antelope Valley Parkway and Salt Creek Road a little after 9 a.m. We're told the motorcyclist was rushed to the hospital and is currently in critical condition. Now, that is all the details so far that have been released about the crash. To crime news now. In Omaha, police are searching for a suspect after a deadly shooting. They say it happened around 11 p.m. last night near 45th and Laurel Avenue. Officials found 46-year-old Darren Hunter shot inside of a car. Hunter was then taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. The investigation is still ongoing, and anyone with information is asked to call Omaha police. A tip leading to the arrest of a homicide suspect is eligible for a $25,000 reward. And a string of crafty crimes here in Lincoln. Thieves have stolen 14 sewing machines from Joann Fabrics. The thefts began in April of last year, and the most recent was earlier this month. Police say 2 men walked out of the store, each with 2 sewing machines. A total value that time, just over $1,000. A dangerous pileup in Colorado yesterday in the middle of a winter storm. Witnesses say a semi jackknifed, blocking all lanes of Interstate 25 south of Fountain. Up to 15 vehicles were involved in that pileup. The northbound lanes of I-25 were shut down for several hours. No word yet on any injuries, and police are still investigating the crash, but as you can see, the road conditions were snow-covered and very icy at the time. And meanwhile, here in Nebraska, John, we're enjoying, a mild, nice day and a beautiful weekend ahead.
That's right. We got lots of sunshine outside today, and there's really no complaints about that. Some of you may even say it's looks nicer outside out the window versus going out in it. I didn't think it was that cold today, but we did make it to 37 degrees this afternoon in Lincoln. You can see we've got sunny skies for the most part as we take a live look from Southeast Community College back to the south and west. A couple of high thin cirrus clouds up overhead and out into the distance. Those ones out in the distance will remain out into the distance. It's 46 right now in Kearney. It's 43 degrees in Grand Island, where temperatures are warmer than the far eastern corner of the state, where it's 31 in Omaha. Winds remain out of the south, sustained 5 to 10 miles per hour. And we've got wind chills just ever so slightly cooler than the actual air temperature. Feels like it's 28 degrees right now in Lincoln. As I mentioned, skies are mainly clear. You can see that on the satellite imagery. We're going to keep clear skies around for most of tonight. We may see a few clouds early tomorrow morning, turning skies at worst partly cloudy. It will be a chilly start to the day, of temperatures dropping into the upper teens to low 20s. But boy, there are some nice things coming our way this weekend. That includes warmer temperatures tomorrow. Not too bad for Sunday either. All of the details on that and some big changes coming our way for next week. That's in my Storm Alert Team forecast.
We'll talk to you soon, John. Thank you. In other national news now, a bridge collapsing in Pittsburgh this morning left at least 10 people injured. President Biden visited the scene shortly after arriving in Pennsylvania, where he's talking about the benefits of his bipartisan infrastructure bill. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has the latest.
Just hours after a major bridge collapsed in Pittsburgh, President Biden making a visit to the site, part of a trip to the city to discuss federal efforts to rebuild the nation's crumbling infrastructure.
They're going to fix them all. Not a joke.
The president thanking first responders who rushed to the scene this morning when the snow-covered bridge gave out, leaving cars overturned and a bus hanging perilously off the edge of the road.
The bus was bouncing and shaking, and It seemed long, but it was probably less than a minute that the bus finally came to a stop.
Pittsburgh authorities say so far there are no deaths and 10 minor injuries.
The firefighters that were here initially on scene also did like a daisy chain with hands, just grabbing people and pulling them up.
The NTSB sending a team to the scene as an investigation into the cause of the collapse gets underway.
The travel on this road is really, really important to the people on the east side of Pittsburgh.
The bridge collapse is a stark visual of the need to invest in America's roads, bridges, and rails. Pennsylvania alone has more than 3,300 bridges in poor condition, the second most after Iowa. In a speech just miles from the site, the president touted the newly enacted bipartisan infrastructure law, which provides more than $1 billion in funding for Pennsylvania's bridges.
This is the first time in the country's history that we dedicated a national program to repair and upgrade bridges. It's about time.
In a September 2021 inspection, the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation rated the overall condition of the bridge that collapsed as poor, citing various issues with its structure. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Still to come on the news tonight, tensions are rising between Ukraine and Russia as Ukraine braces for an invasion. We'll have the very latest on that and your full forecast. That's all coming up after the break.
You're injured, not broken. Call Barry Law at 402-999-7777.
Ever wonder why you have to deal with so many people at the dealership just to buy a car? At Anderson Ford, we're different. You work with the same person from start to finish to help guide you through the process, saving you time and frustration. Right now at Anderson Ford, lease a 2021 Ford F-150 for only $399 per month. Or lease a 2021 Ford Edge for only $389 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
I'm sick of Washington. They don't have a clue on COVID. They want to shut us down, pay people not to work, and mandate government control of everything. Meanwhile, Biden is as lost as last year's Easter egg. And Fauci, don't get me started. I'm Jim Pillen. As governor, I'll keep Nebraska safe, but we're going to do it the Nebraska way, without giving up the freedoms that make America great.
Jim Pillen for governor.
I'm a club volleyball player, and I'm pretty good at it. You know, ball's in the corner, and I fling myself, and I get it up, and everybody's cheering. It just feels so good. But when my feet hurt, it sucks. And it feels like both my sides are just like coming up, and they're just ripping the middle of it. I told my mom, and she took me into Good Feet, and now I could just run without thinking that my foot's tearing in half. It's way better. My name's Taylor, and that's my Good Feet story.
See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Think how many times you've gone through the drive-thru because you forgot shoes, or because it was 110 degrees in the shade, because your child was napping, or screaming, or both. Yep, the convenience of the drive-thru is awesome. Now you can get tested for COVID-19 in the Nomi Health drive-thru. Fast and easy with no out-of-pocket costs. No shoes required. Nomi Health, simple testing for all.
Fly through LNK, a zero-stress, hassle-free airport. Choose LNK. It's the airport for people who hate airports.
This is it, the final days of the great giveaway at Kia of Lincoln. Buy any pre-owned vehicle and get gas for up to 1 year or up to $2,000 cash back. Kia of Lincoln, 1145 North 48th Street, always open at kiaoflincoln.com.
You're injured, not broken. Call Barry Law at 402-999-7777.
Now to the latest between Russia and Ukraine. Russia has now added field hospitals where its troops are massed at the border, further fueling speculation that it's preparing to invade Ukraine. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
As tensions rise between the U.S. and Russia over Ukraine, ABC News taking questions directly to the president of Ukraine.
If you're wrong,
You wouldn't be the first Ukrainian president to underestimate Russia. Have you thought about that prospect?
We are getting ready as much as possible to any scenario.
Volodymyr Zelensky saying they're prepared for a potential invasion from Russian troops massed at the border. A U.S. official confirming Russia has also now set up field hospitals there.
I would say that we have said since last week that we have seen preparations and buildup at the border and that an invasion could come at any time.
Ukraine getting military aid from a number of countries, including the U.S. and U.K. New video shows British troops training Ukrainian forces on anti-tank weapons. In a call with Zelensky, President Biden assuring U.S. and allied readiness to respond decisively if Russia further invades Ukraine. Friday afternoon, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin reaffirming the U.S. commitment.
The United States remains committed to helping Ukraine defend itself through security assistance material.
Zelensky saying the country is grateful for support, but pushing back on U.S. claims a Russian attack is imminent. All this just 2 days after the United States hand-delivered its diplomatic response to Russia's demands, refusing to agree to the Kremlin's central request, a guarantee that Ukraine never joins NATO. Russia saying those demands must be met, but leaving the door to diplomacy still open. Russia's foreign minister saying, "We don't want a war, but we won't let our interests be rudely trampled on and ignored." A senior U.S. official tells ABC America welcomes that message, but they do want to see Russia take action by de-escalating, including pulling some troops from the Ukrainian border. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Now, your Storm Alert Team forecast with Chief Meteorologist John Dissauer.
Lots of sunshine today, and that is still evident from our camera at Honda of Lincoln. Looking to the south and west, beautiful view of the sun as we're getting closer to sunset. Sunset happens just a little after 5:30 today. By the way, we gain 2 minutes of daylight tomorrow, and we're going to see a fair amount of daylight throughout the day tomorrow, as well as warmer temperatures. We've got a great weekend coming our way. Temperatures today a little on the cool side, upper 30s in Lincoln. I thought we may be able to hit 40 degrees today. Turns out that was just about 40, 50 miles out to our west, where temperatures today climbed up into the mid-40s. It's 43 now in Grand Island, 38 in Friend, 35 degrees in Beatrice. Skies, for the most part, are clear. We've got a few high, thin cirrus clouds overhead, but that's about it. We'll see clear skies as we go through the overnight. By early tomorrow morning, we could see just a couple of clouds turning skies partly cloudy at worst, and then we'll see those clear out and lots of sunshine again tomorrow. Temperatures this evening dropping through the 30s into the 20s. 26 degrees by 10 o'clock. Now with the clear skies overnight, I think we will see our temperatures dipping down into the upper teens for some of us. Otherwise, right around 20 degrees in southeast Nebraska. A bit cooler also up towards Omaha, 19, 18 degrees in Columbus, down to 20 in Beatrice. Tomorrow morning, Stormcast suggesting we'll see sunny skies and we'll see temperatures warming quickly. By noon, ranging from the upper 40s to low 50s. As we head through the afternoon, temperatures will be getting up into the middle 50s to near 60 degrees. In fact, I think we could be very close to 60 in Kearney and Hastings. Grand Island not too far away. Hebron, I think we hit 60, 59 in Fairbury, forecasting 56 degrees in Lincoln tomorrow. Southwest winds shifting around to the northwest, but there'll be more of a downsloping wind helping dry out the air as it's moving across the state. And because of that, the National Weather Service has put out a fire weather watch in effect tomorrow from 11 a.m. until 6 o'clock, mainly for the central portions of the state. Burning not a good idea tomorrow. Now, the warm weather is going to stick around. On Sunday, we're likely to be into the upper 40s to low 50s. On Monday, ahead of a cold front coming our way, I think temperatures get into the upper 50s, maybe some low 60s around here. Once that front passes, though, cooler air begins to tumble down out of Canada and into the U.S., and we'll see another shot of that coming down our way Tuesday night and throughout Wednesday and Thursday. With this wave coming across is a storm system. We've been talking about the storm systems that we've gone throughout the entire week. For that, we've got to look back to the northwest, and it's actually coming through in a couple of chunks. The one we were watching earlier off the Russian coast is now up over Russia, and this is upper level energy that will come up over the Arctic and then come down the west coast quickly this weekend. The surface low is actually up now in the Gulf of Alaska, beginning to make its way on shore. But aircraft are still going up. The NOAA hurricane hunters, this one out of Sacramento, actually sampling some of the atmosphere into the eastern Pacific to try to get a better idea of what's going on in the atmosphere over the ocean to give us better data for the computer models. Now, the Weather Prediction Center, which is basically the winter arm of NOAA, similar to the Storm Prediction Center when it comes to severe weather, they're suggesting the probability of 3 inches of snow or sleet or higher, is at least in southeast Nebraska. You can see that the track of the storm is expected to go off to the north and east, but around here we're talking anywhere between about a 10% chance or probability up to about a 30 to 40% probability of seeing conditions meeting that level. Now, this weekend, 49 Sunday, 57 degrees for a high on Monday. Now, Tuesday, clouds will start to increase. It starts turning cooler. Snow comes in late Tuesday night. Through the day on Wednesday, it'll be a chilly day, a high of 20. Looks right now to bring snow and windy conditions, which I think will probably drop visibilities throughout the day. Down to 3 degrees below zero by Thursday morning. 13 for a high on Thursday. We may keep some snow around early Thursday morning before drying out. We may see some sunshine towards afternoon. 17 degrees by Friday, and then the first full weekend of February looks to be below normal with highs in the upper 20s to right around 30 degrees.
That will be a big shift from 56, 49 this weekend to 20 and snow in the middle of next week.
There's still some questions about this storm. Computer models are slightly different. The European computer model, which we oftentimes hear about, is about 150 to 200 miles further south. The American model, or the GFS, would bring a bigger snow to this area. It's something we'll continue to monitor as we go through the weekend.
Yes, so don't let this be your last forecast.
That's right.
All right, thank you, John. Big gains today on Wall Street. The Dow jumping 565 points. NASDAQ is up 418. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
Tonight, the new
Finally tonight, not all food heroes wear capes, some wear badges. And if you're in the market for a car that will turn heads, you might want to look up. These stories and more in tonight's Take a Look at This.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a car?
That's right, folks. The air car was just cleared for takeoff by the Slovak Transport Authority after 70 hours of, quote, rigorous flight testing. Not so fast, though. To burn rubber in the skies with this bad boy, you're going to need a pilot license along with your normal driver's license. Klein Vision, the company behind this sweet aerodynamic ride, hopes to have the air car available for purchase within the next 12 months. And get this, it can run on fuel from a typical gas station. I feel like we are just getting closer and closer to the invention of Marty McFly's hoverboard.
He's on a hoverboard!
Raj Patel has owned this BP gas station in Mount Sterling, Ohio for over 20 years and can usually be found smiling and chatting with his customers. But on Wednesday, Patel's friendly demeanor flipped when this man walked into the store with a gun. Patel quickly pulled out his own gun and fired off one shot as the suspect fled. The suspect was later arrested, and authorities say he is wanted in at least 2 other robberies. Locals weren't surprised at Patel's quick actions and have a word of advice.
You don't mess with Raj.
And how about this for going above and beyond the call of duty? Sioux Falls police officer Sam Burr turned food deliverer.
You know, I'm not who you're expecting, but your driver got arrested.
Burr had pulled over the DoorDasher who was ultimately arrested, but made sure this grateful citizen received her Arby's order. I really hope she tipped him. For Take a Look at This, I'm Steve Nannis.
Well, that would be a surprise, have a police officer deliver your food to you.
Hopefully it wasn't too cold by the time it got to them.
Yeah. All right, John, can we get one final check of our weather tonight?
Yeah, clear skies this evening. Sun setting this evening at 5:40. 28 degrees by 8 o'clock. We'll be down to right around 26 by 10. Eventually, lows will drop into the upper teens tomorrow morning, but that's not a precursor of tomorrow because we'll make it back up in the middle, upper 50s, and maybe even some of you could hit 60 degrees tomorrow afternoon.
Wow, that'll be beautiful. I'm definitely taking the dogs out for a walk, baby for a ride in the stroller. It'll be great.
Definitely enjoy it this weekend because big change is coming next week.
Yes. All right. Thank you, John. And thank you all for joining us. Stay tuned. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next. And then we'll see you right back here at 6 o'clock.
With the Channel 8 Eyewitness News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
At Comfort Made Mattress Factory, we build each mattress specifically for you right here in our locally owned store. We can even make his side different than hers, backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee.
Closed captioning on Channel 8.